took the car without permission and crashed it into a ditch. He's suing for $850 for his totaled car. This is the defendant, James Severino. He says he was going to gas up the car when someone ran him off the road, forcing him into the ditch. In any event, Steve has damaged his car in the past without paying for repairs, so he considers it a wash. He's accused of crashing a car. The People's Court will be back to the Renaissance City right after these messages.
This is your town, so give us the details of this case of Fishin and Ditchin.
The plaintiff's son states that he heard screeching tires and trees being sideswiped from the fishing boat, and when he got back, he discovered the defendant had taken the car and totaled it. Now, the defendant insists that the accident was not his fault, so he doesn't see why he should have to pay the plaintiff anything.
All rise, please.
You may be seated. I know that each of you has been sworn. I have read your complaint, sir. You claim the defendant took your car without permission and totaled it?
That's correct.
All right, what kind of car do you have?
It's a 1977 Pontiac Catalina.
You have a photo of the car?
Yes, I do. I also have damage estimates and a statement from the investigating officer of the state police.
Thank you. Did you drive this car, sir?
Yes, sir.
Did you have permission?
If I could explain that answer, sir, I will.
Always explain an answer, sir. First, you have to give one in order to explain it.
I really didn't have permission, sir, but I like.
You really did not have permission.
No, sir, but we had a friendship bond where he would take my car and I would take his car, which he claimed that was his car and not his father's. Okay. Like, if we were friends at the time, you know, and it wasn't no big deal to take his car and my car.
Did you take his car?
Yes, sir.
Did you drive it?
Yes, sir.
Did you get into an accident?
Yes, sir.
Did you total it?
No, sir.
Here's some pictures of his car, he says, after the accident. Take a look at them, sir. Tell me if that's the way the car looked after the accident.
The only damage that I did to his car,
Sir, is that the way his
No.
car looked? Pardon?
No.
No?
No.
What wasn't damaged?
The only thing that I did damage to, sir, was the rear quarter panel and a tie rod.
Okay, tell me how this accident happened.
I was driving on Lake Minnetonka Road. I was fishing with Steve and my girlfriend and two of their friends that day. I got an argument with my girlfriend, and they were out fishing, so...
Sir, I don't care about all of that.
All right.
It's really not relevant. I want to know how the accident happened.
I was going up the road. I was making a bend. A Mustang GT came around the bend sideways, ran me off the road. I had no room but to go off the road. So when I went off the road, I hit gravel and I spun around. Well, whenever I was going off the road, I ran over two bushes. Then whenever I spun around, I smashed his quarter panel in a ditch. And that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yes,
So
sir.
you're claiming the accident wasn't your fault?
No, sir.
Anyone else in the car?
No, sir.
Where were you going with the car?
To get gas, sir.
How fast were you driving?
35 mile an hour, sir.
What's the speed limit on that highway?
25, 35. I'm not really sure, sir.
You're not sure?
No, sir.
Okay.
If I may interrupt, he said
Been
that
drinking at all?
Yes, sir.
How much had you been drinking?
I was drinking all day, sir.
All day?
I was drinking...
What time did you start?
12 o'clock. Yeah.
Noon?
Yes, sir.
What time was the accident?
Like 9 o'clock at night.
So these 9 hours that you were drinking, how much did you consume?
We had 2 cases of beer that day, sir.
How did you consume?
I really don't know. I know, you know.
You're too tanked to know how many you drank?
I must have drank 12.
12?
Yes.
Think you were intoxicated?
No, sir.
Were you ever given a sobriety test?
Yeah, I passed it.
Passed it. Do you have the results here?
No, sir.
How do you know you passed it?
Well, if I wouldn't have passed it, I would have got a DUI in Pennsylvania.
You would have done what?
I would have got a driving under the influence in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. What do you have to tell me?
Well, I was up there on the weekend. Everything he said is basically true. We were fishing and took the car without asking, wrecked it, and when I got back in, Linda took me down to find the car there, and basically what he said is just about all true, except for the part about DUI. Lake Latonka is private property, and the state police have no jurisdiction on driving laws up there. So
You know the speed limit on that road?
I believe it was 25 miles per hour.
25. Well, I suppose that no question but the defendant didn't have permission to drive this car. Doesn't seem to be much question about the fact that he exceeded the speed limit. Doesn't seem to be any question about the fact that he was probably too drunk to know what he was doing, drinking from 12 to 9. By his own admission, drinking 12 beers. Could have had a lot more. He's got the defense here of a phantom automobile that caused the accident. But I'm convinced that the accident was your fault. You were driving without permission. You violated the law in at least two aspects. One speeding and one driving under the influence of intoxicating beverages. I don't think there's any question about who should prevail in this case. My judgment is for plaintiff for $850.
The People's Court on the road from Pittsburgh will continue in just a moment.
Program.
This is the plaintiff, Mark Walker, and his son, Steve.
Meet Mark and Steve Walker of Robinson Township. Mark and Steve were the stars of today's People's Court. For Mark, it was not the first time on TV.
Started with Ricky Wirtz and Copper and junior high quiz back in, I guess it was in the 7th grade. And then People's Court called and did an impromptu appearance on ESPN.
Mark enjoyed being on the People's Court, but he says it wasn't exactly Hollywood.
You didn't feel like you were on television. It was, even though there was the trappings of cameras and lights, Judge Wapner is a very stern individual, and the moment he walks into the courtroom, you're really transfixed by the procedures and what's going on.
Mark and Steve ended up in the People's Court when a friend of Steve's wrecked his car and refused to pay for damages. In the end, Judge Wapner sorted through the facts and stood in Walker's corner.
I don't think there's any question about who should prevail in this case. My judgment is for plaintiff for $850.
Judge Wapner, what'd you think of him?
He's a tough cookie. I answered my questions and I shut my mouth.
As for Steve and his old friend Jim, have they let bygones be bygones?
Is this kid still your friend? Oh no, I haven't talked to him since he wrecked my car, really.
Now the Walkers ended up winners, and good for you guys. If you have a consumer complaint, regardless of what it might be, sit down, write me a letter, and I'll get you some action. In Robinson Township for Channel 11 News, I'm Mike Bogoslowski, and I'm in your corner.